Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you everyone? Okay, today inshallah we're gonna start a new lesson. Lesson 4. How do scientists find answer? How do scientists find answer? Okay, we said before, scientists always ask a question. Scientists always ask a question, and also they always answer the questions. So we said scientists always ask and answer questions. Okay, how can they answer, or how can they find the answers? What do you think? How can scientists answer the questions? Okay, open with me page 169. Okay, how they answer? They investigate. They investigate. So scientists investigate to find answers. So they always ask a question and always answer the question. How can they answer? By investigation. So investigate means is near or close to inquiry means. So investigate is close or near to inquiry. So what does it mean? Investigate is to look for answers to question. So investigate to look for answers. Near to inquiry means. So investigate how they answer, how you or scientists answer the question by investigation, and investigate means to look for answers to question. So investigate to look for answers to question. Okay, and how can they investigate? By using a scientific method. How they can investigate? By using scientific methods. And the scientific methods have many steps. We will learn it now. Scientific methods have many steps. Okay, we said to investigate is to look for answers to question. So scientists investigate, or you investigate to find answer. And investigate means to look for answers. How can you investigate, or how can scientists investigate? By using scientific methods. So scientific methods are a way to investigate. Scientific methods have different or many steps. We will learn it now. Look, this scientist investigates plants. This scientist investigates plants. What do you think he asked about, or about the plant? What he asked? What do you think? You have a question here. Look at the picture. Ask a question the scientist might ask about a plant. What do you think? The scientist might ask about the plant. Okay, we'll answer here. So he might ask, what do the leaves look like? He might ask, what do the leaves look like? So this is his question. Write with me. What do the leaves look like? What do the leaves look like? So he might ask this question, what do the leaves look like? Okay, and also you have a question here before. Circle the word that means to look for answers, or to look for answers to questions. So which word means to look for answers to question? Excellent. Investigate. So circle it. Investigate is to look for answers to questions. Okay, now let's move to the second page to learn the steps of the scientific methods. So how can you make a scientific method? To investigate. So scientific methods, scientific methods have different or many steps. First step is to ask a question. So you have to ask a question that you want to answer. So you have to ask a question firstly that you want answered. Okay, look at this picture. You can ask about this plant. So, how does sunlight change the way plants grow? This is your question. How does sunlight change the way plants grow? So this is the question. Firstly, you will ask a question. The method of the steps of the scientific methods. First, you have to ask a question, then make your hypothesis. How can you make a hypothesis? By find answer to your question. You have to find or to tell your answer. So your answer is, if a plant is moved away, you will suppose. So hypothesis to suppose. So if a plant is moved away from the sunlight, then it will grow toward the sunlight. Why? This is your hypothesis. You suppose. So the sunlight will grow toward the plants will grow toward the sunlight. Why? Because plants need light. So if we move it away from the sunlight, it will grow toward the sunlight because it needs sunlight. So this is your hypothesis. You answered now your question. Then you will plan for a test. Third step is plan a fair test. Change only one thing. So you will move one plant away from the sunlight to see if your answer is correct or no. So you'll make a test now. You will make a test. You do firstly hypothesis. You answer your question firstly, and then you will test your hypothesis. If it's correct or no, you will test your hypothesis. So you'll move one plant away from the sunlight to see if it's grow toward the sunlight or no. So third step, plan a fair test. Change only one thing, keep everything else the same. Move one plant away from the window or from the sunlight. Then the next step is do your test. So you have to test your hypothesis. You have to compare your results. So you said in the hypothesis, if we moved the plant away from the window or from the sunlight, it will grow toward the sunlight because it needs sunlight. So do your test to test your hypothesis. So see if your results are the same. You will make your test more than once. So you'll make it several times. You will make your test several times to be sure about the result. So do your test and then collect and record your data. So your data is what happened, what you observed. Keep records of what you find. Use words. You can also use words or drawing to help. You can use words or drawing to help. The boy draws a picture to keep records like this. Okay, so after you did the test, you saw the plant is growing toward the sunlight. The plant here, when you moved it away from the window, so it actually grew toward the sunlight. So after you did or after you do the test to test your hypothesis, you can collect the data, collect and record data, what happened, what you noticed, what you observed. Then finally draw a conclusion. By the end of your hypothesis, you can see the result or decide if your observations match your hypothesis. So you will decide if your observations of the test, what you observed from the test, you will decide it if it's match your hypothesis, your answer before. So firstly you answered your question, so in the hypothesis you answered the question, and then you make some observation by making test. So you will compare to these two results, your observation from the test, you did it here, and your hypothesis, what you answered before, until what you decide, are they the same, are they different, did you observe, did you answer correctly, in your hypothesis, and compare your conclusion with your friend's conclusion. If you do it together in the classroom, you will compare yours with your friends or partner. Okay, we have a question here in page 170. Tell another hypothesis. Okay, suppose another thing other than if you move the plant away from the sunlight. Okay, think with me. Tell another hypothesis, another suppose. Okay, we can say if one plant gets more light than another plant, then the plant that gets more light will grow taller, because plants need light to grow. So we can say if one plant gets more light, we will not write it, just listen to me for the another hypothesis. You can write it if you want. Okay, another hypothesis is if one plant gets more light than the other, so what will happen? You will suppose if one plant gets more light than the other, then the plant that gets more light will grow taller. Why? It will grow taller because plants need light to grow. Okay, let's go back to the last page to answer the questions. So we finished now our scientific method. We made these six steps. Okay, now write how sunlight changes the way plants grow. Okay, do you know the answer? How sunlight changes the way plants grow. So plants grow toward what? Excellent, the sunlight. Okay, plants grow plants grow toward light or sunlight. Okay, nice. You have another question. Tell how you know that. So the picture shows here, this picture. Can you see the plant? The plant growing to this side, to the sunlight side. So the plant here is growing toward, so it's looking for the sunlight. So it's growing toward the sunlight. So now how you know that? Because the picture shows a plant growing toward light. After our test, we can notice that the plant is growing toward the sunlight. So we can answer together. The picture shows a plant growing toward the sunlight or the light. This is how we know. The picture shows a plant growing toward the light. Okay, answer with me. So we know that after our test or hypothesis, after we make a scientific method, we can know this result. Okay, I want you to watch with me this video. How can you test a prediction? How can you test a prediction?
Think about the following question. Can sunlight warm an object? Answer the question as a scientist would. Observe a piece of paper. Does it feel warm or cool? The paper feels cool. Predict how the paper will feel after it has been in the sun. Test your prediction. Put the paper in sunlight and wait 15 minutes. Touch the paper again. It feels warm now.
So you made a test and you can find the answer after you see the result of your test, and this is a scientific method. So you used a scientific method to answer your question. So the steps are, again, ask a question. Firstly, you have to ask a question, then make your hypothesis. So you have to answer your question by suppose what will happen. Then plan a fair test, and after that, do your test. So do your test to test your hypothesis. After that, collect and record your data, what happened, and then finally draw a conclusion. So what is the end of your hypothesis? Compare your observation of your test with your hypothesis. Are they the same? Are they matched or no? So then you can compare your result with your friend's result. And this is we learned how can we make a scientific method to investigate. So we investigate, or scientists investigate to find answers. Okay, and it was our lesson for today, which is lesson 4. We finished all the lesson today. Lesson 4, how do scientists find answers? Okay, thank you. If you have any question, you can ask me in the discussion room. I hope all of you understand. Inshallah, see you next time. Goodbye.